Hi, I'm James, and welcome to Off the Beaten Track. So as a quick introduction, as this is my first video, as I said just now, my name is James. I currently work as the videographer and photographer for a competition and conversion company. And my main passion in life in the last few years has been converting vans and building various things. So the purpose behind this channel is kind of to take you along for the ride as I convert this van and some other bits, just doing some really cool custom work, doing some amazing conversion ideas, and just going on adventures and seeing where life takes it. So alongside taking you guys on this adventure, I'm also gonna be doing some tutorials, some little tips and tricks, and some various things related to Volkswagens, just some interesting trivia and stuff like that as well. So without much further ado, I'd like to introduce Nigel. Nigel is a 1996 T4 Transporter, made by Volkswagen, of course. He is a long wheelbase with a 2.5 litre TDI engine, and mechanically he's fairly sound. It's brilliant. However, as for the rest of the parts that go around that, as you can tell from the title of this video, I've bought a wreck. Now the story behind buying this was that last year I had a 2011 Caddy which I converted into a micro camper. I went through a lot of effort to swamper that and get that looking on the outside just as I wanted it to, and it was perfect. But towards the end of last year, sadly, a lot of problems came up and I had to get rid of it due to the fact that it was uneconomical to repair. So I figured, what do I buy next? And owning a T4 has been a dream of mine since I was probably about 11. So I figured, what better time to do it than now? I was very particular about the fact I wanted a long wheelbase and the fact that I wanted the 2.5 litre. You just can't beat that 5-cylinder soundtrack. It sounds fantastic. But yeah, so that brought me to Nigel. Now, Nigel came up on Facebook Marketplace and he was hovering for about a week. And I was toing and froing over it. He was up in Reading, which wasn't too far, it was doable. So I decided to go and have a look at him on the off chance. So I went to have a viewing. He all looked fairly good. Bear in mind, this was October last year when we were still having freedom and things like that. As you can tell, I'm still rocking the lockdown barnet. But I went to have a look and all seemed well. Went on a test drive with it. It was driving all right. There were a couple of little knocks and bangs, but nothing that wasn't going to be a fairly easy fix, or so I thought. Now, I was slightly wrong with some of them, but we'll go into more detail in that in a minute. The main thing I was on the lookout for, as a lot of people know with these vans, is rust. These things rust for a pastime. It's a real shame. And having a quick cursory look around the body and a good tap and poke with a screwdriver and a magnet, he seemed fairly clean, or so I thought. Now, driving him home, I suddenly realised that there might have been more issues than I previously anticipated when I pulled over about 20 minutes away from my house and he wouldn't start. I thought, well, this is fantastic. He's new to me and now he won't start. And it turns out that was a failed ignition switch, which is also a very common fault on these old vans, but that was replaced within about 3 days and that wasn't too much of an epic. For the next couple of weeks, I spent a while chasing down other problems and things like that, working out what the knocking was, which it was knackered ball joints on both sides. One of them took 3 days to get out in the end with a lot of cutting and various other implements. But I got that all sweet and set. So once I got everything like that sorted and done, I decided to take up the floor that was in the back of it when I bought it. And this was the biggest mistake so far. After taking up the floor, I found that there wasn't really much of a floor. There was quite a lot of rust and things that I hadn't seen from underneath, things that I hadn't seen from on top, because it had wet carpet on it for years. It just rusted through. So basically, where we're going to start this journey now, in the next episode, will be replacing everything that's rusty and rotten, as you've seen in those little segments. As I said, welcome to Off the Beaten Track, and it'd be really great if you liked, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at Off the Beaten Track Campers, and yeah, get involved, and it'd be really interesting to see where this all goes. Cheers.